Make the move himself. There you can see now coming across. This is dancing on the pedals. Contador. He's seen the move there, and it looks like French, a phenomenal rider. Look at Contador. Contador is one of those riders who's got an incredible acceleration on these climbs.
With a metal plate in his head because of a very serious accident he had. He made a full recovery. Gains now, but Contador says, I'm going to go. This guy is so classy. He's a rider everybody thinks is going to be a terrific rider of the future.
Contador está yéndose, le está costando llegar a Rasmussen, se puede sentar en cualquier momento y ese es el final. Y vuelve Alberto, vuelve a probarlo. Bravo Alberto, qué valiente. 24 años de ahí luchando a cara.
Le deja, le deja.
Le está apretando muchísimo, más. ¿Cómo le está apretando Alberto? Qué increíble lo que está haciendo Contador. Hay que aguantar un poquito.
Sí, porque vamos de ahora. Venga Alberto, venga, ahora
se está marchando. ¡Oh, qué carrera! Lo ve. Ahí se sienta Alberto. Vamos a por él. Ha abierto ese pequeño hueco, intenta llegar de nuevo Rasmussen, como pueden ver.
He rides for a French team, but he's a Londoner as he rides towards the line now. And look at this, 9:03. It's going to be close, but he's not going to nail Cloden, I'm afraid to say, as it ticks by now. But Wiggins is still looking at second place, the time of George Hincapie. This is still going to be an exceptional time by Bradley Wiggins. Make no mistake about that. Where is the line? He hits it, but he goes to third. A fraction of a second behind George Hincapie. Who has won the prologue before in Belgium, doesn't seem to like winning them in France, because now he's going to win this one in London as he rides up the straight. This has been a ride to save your life. Cancellara has put the icing on the cake for a brilliant London organisation today as he sprints towards the line to beat the 9-minute barrier. He beat it, he annihilated 8 minutes and 50 seconds. No one left can do that. In fourth place, Bernardi is in fifth place. The big sprinters, and they're waiting for the move, and Foster is in there as well now. Watch out for Hunter, who's also going to have a dig for Marlow. Robbie Hunter as he wobbles all over the road now, and they're chasing him down as best they can, but this is going to be a win for Robbie Hunter, or is it? The South African rider is trying to take them to the line here. This will be a tremendous surprise, a wild card team for victory as Hunter grits his teeth as he gone too soon. Robbie McEwen is coming. McEwen, the acceleration on the middle of the picture. The man off the back is going to win. Robbie McEwen, the man from nowhere. Welcome home. Unbelievable. I don't know how on earth does that happen. The first time, there's been a terrible pile-up there, a massive pile-up on the road. The yellow jersey is gone. He will get the same time because of the international regulations. They will not lose time, but how many are down and who has gone down?
Well, I'm not sure who the first man was to go down there, but went very hard. It looks as if there's a green jersey gone down there as well. It's not very often you see Robbie McEwen. That could be a rider from Crédit Agricole. That's
now because he knows the finish. It kicks up violently. He's got to time it to absolute perfection. Robbie Hunter is in there as well as the flag of Flanders flies high. They race for the top of the hill. This is Gert Stegman's leading out now as he makes his move on the left. Bowman is in his slipstream. McEwen makes progress, but he's too far back. He's alongside Hunter. As now coming up to the line, this is the move by Bowman, but still kicking on the right is Gert Stegmans as they come to the line. Well, Bowman salutes, but I've got a feeling Stegmans has won the day.
Well, Stegmans was the lead-out man there. You can see the crowd. The crowd have all of a sudden just heard who's won the stage. They're all Belgians out there at the moment. They will be absolutely enthralled by the fact that they're...
Cancellara has taken off. There's confusion behind. Quick steps up. When is Tom Bowman going to make his move? Is Mark Cavendish right on the front there? These boys, Vauban, he looks over. They're going to give it to the yellow jersey. This is going to be a huge present. What a ride by Cancellara. He suddenly sensed he can win the stage from absolutely nowhere. They've wiped them out on the line of the stage of the Tour de France. 400 metres, 300 metres. Cancellara, the strong man of the time trial has ridden them off his wheel. He is going to come up to the line here now. The move behind as Robbie McEwen kicks. McEwen and Robbie Hunter. Hunter now Bonin on the left. Cancellara, Zabel's on Cancellara's wheel. And it looks as though we've got Cancellara, Zabel on the line. Napolitano, Bonin. They all got beaten by the yellow jersey. That'll serve them right.
To line up for the finish line. They're looking now at about 550 metres to go. Gerolsteiner pulls off, still quick step in control.
Well, watch for this little switch at 250 metres. It might disrupt the move here now. And still Robbie McEwen is not getting through. I can see Robbie Hunter trying to get through, but they're still not going to make a big sprint. Julian Dean's on the front now. Dean has found his man, Tor Hushoff. Dean, the champion of New Zealand. Hunter coming on Dean's wheel. Hushoff opens the sprint in the centre now. Foster trying to get through on the right here. As now Tor Hushoff hits the line at last.
Jersey is safely in that main field here as they line themselves up for the line. 400 metres to go.
And Eric Zabel has put himself in a brilliant position. Centre picture and dodging, and Froeder's on his shoulder. This is a battle of the sprinters now. Zabel is out of it. Froeder isn't as he races up to the line. Eric Froeder, Hincapie's going after them. And also there is Napolitano, but the man who has won on the line, Filippo Pozzato has taken it. Well, he was on the lips of a lot of people this morning, but he produced one incredible finish. For the line of Robert Foster as they come to the line. Bonin is now coming. This is an absolute free-for-all, and Foster is making the final throws, putting a final dig for the line now, as this looks like it's Bonin right on the line, and he's made it at last. But Rasmussen is through, safe and over the top. I'm not sure what position he's gone over because I don't know how many of that breakaway still exists.
Just ahead of nearly all of the major favourites of the Tour. We have had a decanting. We'll have a completely different overall classification. 3 minutes and 20 seconds is the deficit of the main field, and now, Phil, it is going to be a...
As he comes down this road here, they can see now that it is Gerdeman who's leading. He got into the breakaway. He not only survived it, he made the story of the day here.
Well, it was 22 seconds at the top of the climb. It's now 32 seconds, the advantage of Linus Gerdeman. As we see now the remnants of riders trying to stay in contact. There is Fofanov, so he too has been picked up.
As he races to the line at 24 3/4 years of age, he's started the day 58 seconds behind the yellow jersey. He gets a bonus of 20, and there's no one near him anyway. He moves clearly into yellow for tomorrow's next day in the Alps. This will go down as his greatest victory. He's only been a pro for 2 seasons. T-Mobile brought a young team to this race, didn't think they could win it. They better start thinking now, because yellow awaits this rider. Because his team leader is Valverde back in the pack. From what we've seen of Valverde today, he's not riding that well.
No, I did see them riding up to the front end of the group once everybody started to accelerate, and Arroyo has cracked.
Well, I thought he was tired on the last end of the last climb.
Well, Arroyo was the closest rider to Michael Rasmussen. He was, let's not forget, he was involved in that accident. He's done a great job of staying in contact, but now he's finally cracked and could no longer take the pace that was being dictated by Michael Rasmussen.
The riders go away, and Colomb is next. This is incessant, this pace-making by Rasmussen. He is now free to fly. The angel of the mountains goes forth, and he's still a long way to go.
Well, to think about is trying to build a big advantage over the front end of the peloton, and Christophe Moreau has decided this could be the day for France as well. He knows that he's got great form this year. He's 36 years of age. He doesn't want to hold back. He has to do something special as well to ride himself up high in the overall classification. A little bit of help and respite, and then surely he will swing away. Looking back a little bit further, there's a big reaction coming as well. There's a lot of riders now deciding that this is the move. It's a long way to the summit of this climb, 17 kilometers. It's Iban Mayo who's going clear, and there is Alejandro Valverde. Not going very well, was he? Well, he is now, thank you very much. Andreas Kloden has moved across there too. What about that broken coccyx? Sorry, I think that was a little bit of PR coming out of Team Astana, and Cadel Evans is there also. And there is Alexander Vinokourov. There you can see the big move starting to come. There is the rider Michael Bogard. Levi Leipheimer is over there on the left-hand side. But when Christophe Moreau went, the next move that came across with Iban Mayo had Alejandro Valverde on his wheel.
Leipheimer is back here. Cadel Evans has gone forward. They've split on the final climb of the day.
It's only 20 seconds though at the moment, but this is a great move by Christophe Moreau. He knew he needed to take the race by the horns. Valverde, look at Iban Mayo. Mayo today is riding like a man possessed. He's such an enigmatic character. He either goes up hills at 100 miles an hour or he can't even climb a railway bridge, but that's a good move.
I honestly think that Mayo has refound himself now, refound the great form he had of a couple of years ago since he joined the new team. He is on the team of David Miller now, so in position.
Well, there's the yellow jersey, the man who was the man of the match yesterday, Linus Gerdeman. He is suffering to stay in this group. This group was being left there by Alexander Vinokourov. And at the front here, Valverde is all over the road. Contador is over on the right-hand side, and coming through now is Popovic for Team Discovery Channel.
They're cutting through the chase group with the breakaways here. That's Jens Voigt is looking around, doesn't know what on earth is going on. Frank Schleck has made that split as well. And it's a long way back now, and it's in charge of Valverde. Leipheimer is there as well.
Front though, Michael Rasmussen still riding an incredible solo raid. This is how we're used to seeing him in the mountains, on his own, riding away from everybody. What a great mountain biker. This is Iban Mayo looking over his shoulder to try and figure out just exactly what's going on.
Iban Mayo now back in the Tour de France with a vengeance, in new colours on his shoulders here. He's riding here his 6th Tour de France. His best finish came in 2003 when he finished the race in 6th place and won a stage at Alpe d'Huez. He's never really ridden well enough since then, but it looks as though he's back in the thick of it right now.
There, just at the back of this group for Jaroslav Popovic, a little touch on his shorts there by Alberto Contador to say, come on mate, let's keep in contact. We've got a good thing going here. This is not a steep climb for the moment. Let's stick together. Popovic is just on the back there. 1-1-2 is Contador. Shakin is there, and he's wondering, what am I going to do now? We've got our man chasing behind the two leaders. We've got Andreas Kloden and we've got Alexander Vinokourov in serious difficulty. Should I sit up and wait for them, or shall I ride my own private little race here? Finest ever performance. They're at 4 minutes and 45 seconds to the front of the race. Michael Rasmussen as Contador goes by there. Still, Cadel Evans looking comfortable. He's in the right move. But Team Discovery Channel now are on the defensive because Christophe Moreau has launched another acceleration off the front.
Well, and look how observant Valverde is now. He appeared to be struggling. He wasn't. He was bluffing. He's riding well now, and he's trying to catch any train that will take him up the mountain. Good reaction from behind, though. See, Cadel Evans again follows, won't make the move. Now he's making the move.
He's got to make the move himself. There you can see now coming across. This is dancing on the pedals, Contador. He's seen the move there, and it looks like Frank Schleck said, come on guys, we can't let Christophe Moreau ride away like this. We've watched him in the Dauphiné Libéré ride away on climbs like the Mont Ventoux. He's got great form, the best form of his life, I think, at 36 years of age, and Popovic has gone pop.
So Popovic has lost contact now as we now go. And how has he lost contact? He has just sat up there. He's going to go back, and this is such a hard finish. 10 kilometers to go to the end of a tough day.
Well, he's still got a long way to go. He's still got a long way to suffer, but he certainly did a great move. He accelerated, brought the crew down slowly but surely until eventually found himself on his own. But Christophe Moreau is doing a phenomenal ride. And look at Contador. Contador is one of those riders who's got an incredible acceleration on these climbs, and Cadel Evans is using the slipstream of Contador to drag himself back into this race. Contador swings over and says, Cadel, if you want to stay in this race, make the effort yourself, mate. I'm not going to drag anybody else up here.
Contador rides with a metal plate in his head because of a very serious accident he had. He made a full recovery, but at the time his life was in danger, and that delayed his career. But now he is a rider everybody thinks is going to be a terrific rider of the future. He is still, like all of these new boys, very young. Look at the face of Michael Bogart. It'll be all smiles and champagne tonight, Michael, when you see what your mate's done up front, because Rasmussen is still away.
Well, like David Arroyo, who's trying to keep himself in second place on the road, and he's doing a phenomenal job. The race radio is telling me that he's at 2 minutes and 55 seconds, and that is a huge gap. He was just 2 seconds away from Michael Rasmussen in the overall classification at the start of the day, and he's hoping here that he can hold on to second place. He will know and be happy that behind him his man Alejandro Valverde has got the chance of moving up in the standings, but these guys are really messing around. If they're not careful, Andreas Kloden is going to do the job that he was signed up to do with Team Astana, and that was to help Alexander Vinokourov win the Tour de France this year, and he's going to pull him back into this group if they don't start messing around. And Alejandro Valverde, well, has all of a sudden realised that and said, forget this, guys, we can't have Vinokourov come back. I'm going to sacrifice myself for these final 2Ks. Andreas Kloden, he used to do this for Jan Ullrich. Now he's doing it for the man who he didn't want to help a couple of years ago when they were teammates on T-Mobile.
Contador dodging in and out. He's also in this little group here, but all of these gains maybe nothing, because the train from Astana is going to get them in the gun sights. They might yet shut this down and finish as a group. There won't be big gains now, but Contador says, I'm going to go. This guy is so classy.
Well, this is amazing. I've got a funny feeling that he may well have had a mechanical incident. I saw a car stopped and he's got a different wheel in at the back there, so he probably have had a mechanical incident. He's going to try and ride himself back up.
How did he get back so fast? That maybe he's running on adrenaline and gone straight through the group. They couldn't counter his move. Arroyo could well be picked up by Alberto Contador here. There he is now, riding like a train.
Well, this man is a superb climber. You know, I'm absolutely certain that he had in the gallery there underneath the protective part of the course, he had a mechanical incident, and he changed his wheel very quickly with the neutral service vehicle, and he wants to ride himself back into this race.
Well, this is a free-for-all. It's not the end of the Tour de France today. This is only the end of the second day in the Alps. There's still an awful long way to go to Paris, but you can see how these riders go now. This is a move, and this is Carlos Sastre trying to put matters to right. Desperate moments in the Tour de France, this.
Well, Vinokourov has got difficulties now, Phil. He can't stay on the wheel of this acceleration, and finally Alexander Vinokourov is showing us that he is slightly injured. He's having a chat there on the radio, and he's trying to find his last little bit of rhythm.
Well, we're looking down on the lake there as we now continue this little final climb. They're dancing on the pedals here of Alberto Contador, but he's being joined here. That looks like Sastre's got through to him.
And just behind is Denny Menchov as well.
Now, this is a big move again, more time to be gained.
Well, as Carlos Sastre said this morning, to win the Tour, you have to be patient. You have to wait for the time to make the move. He waited to see when everybody else was going to start to fail, and then he made his acceleration. This man, Iban Mayo, is a phenomenal rider. This is the final kilometre now, Phil, for the man who has left this race. He went on the first big categories of the Cormet de Roselot, and he's been going ever since.
135 kilometres he's been at or near the front of the race today, most of it in the last hour or so on his own. Rasmussen now is approaching the finish. We've gone back to Mayo as the flags of Norway fly here.
Well, Cadel Evans was just behind there trying to make a move. He sat in the slipstream of Christophe Moreau for an awful long time, but he sees this as a chance to pull himself back a fraction of time as well. A little further back though, Alexander Vinokourov is riding his own solitary effort, trying to keep in touch in the Tour de France here this afternoon. It's a very difficult ride for that man who's got stitches in his knees and his elbows, but as long as he doesn't lose too much time this afternoon, he will move well up into the top 10 in this race and still be the chance of a winner at the end of the Tour.
400 metres to go for Michael Rasmussen, then the clock will start, and I think he's going to have yellow as well. This has been like he did a year ago at La Toussuire. It's going to be even sweeter because a maillot jaune will await. It has been a ride and a half today, and Denmark have found once more a superstar of cycling. He's riding his 4th Tour de France. He's never worn a leader's jersey other than a King of the Mountains. Well, now he's going to lead in both competitions because I think the clock later on will confirm he's in yellow as well as the King. This has been a ride, and he will skirt the race out of their pants today. Tomorrow's a rest day, and he deserves it more than anybody else. This is the select group, and here comes another attack up on the inside now, and this is the sort of move we expected.
Well, this is Alejandro Valverde once again. Look at that little crucifix around his neck, bobbing in the wind with the acceleration, and Iban Mayo is the man trying to come across to him. This is a good move. There is Cadel Evans and the yellow jersey of Michael Rasmussen. I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen Alejandro Valverde ride like this.
They've caught Mercado, they caught him, and they've now dispatched him by another acceleration. Evans has clawed his way back with Mayo and De La Fuente, and behind they're all coming back, but there's not so many now. I think Leipheimer's there. Moreau is trying, but he's a bit slow on the reaction at the bottom of our picture.
Well, Moreau at 36 years of age probably doesn't have the accelerations on these climbs that the younger riders have. He has to just be nice and calm and collected and pull himself back into this group, and he's doing that. They're singing at the back of that group, bobbing along there. You could see Alberto Contador, and they've now started to get rid of this man, and this was the man that they were really worried about, Andrei Kashakin. He's slipping away.
And he was sitting in 5th place overall.
Menchov is gone.
Menchov is trying to go. He's 5th place overall because Shakin is in trouble. Denis Menchov, he's doing a lot of work for his team leader in yellow. Might be paying the price here. 3:06 was slowly Vinokourov's group is losing ground. Well, who is going to be next to throw something in here?
Only lost. So it's going to be very difficult, but we've forgotten about this man, Juan Maurizio Soler. He's riding alone at the front of this race. Never mentioned his name before the start of the Tour de France, and now all of a sudden he's becoming a star.
And if he can get over the top with any lead at all, they'll continue the infighting. He might get away. There's a shot by, he's gone by. This is an attack here now as we start. This is
Contador.
Contador, who has gone clear. An attack by Alberto Contador, 40 kilometres from the finish. This is the rider who was frustrated on the road up to Tignes when he got a back wheel flat tyre when he was with the leaders. He got a tyre change, swept through the remnants of the chase punch and almost rejoined the leaders.
He's just gone past his own teammate there, Jaroslav Popovic. This man, Johan Brunel, said to us, Phil, at the Dauphiné Libéré, I have rarely seen a man who can accelerate on a climb like Alberto Contador. Cadel Evans has seen the danger there. He's grappling to get himself across. He's seen this as a very important move, and Michael Rasmussen has not followed the accelerations.
I don't think he can. It's not his suited way of climbing here. He's going to have to climb his way back in, and he's got Leipheimer on his back wheel, who can't help him now because Alberto Contador, his teammate, is racing up towards the leaders.
Well, on this wheel there, the wheel of Levi Leipheimer, in fact, was Jaroslav Popovic as well.
And just look at this now, a terrific effort by Cadel Evans here. indicating to us, Paul, this man could win this year's Tour de France. He's a great time trialist, and he's going back up to a man who is an absolute Tour revelation. Alberto Contador's never ridden the Tour before. He was almost dead with a serious head injury. He has a plate right over the top of his skull. And now Contador saying, you've caught me, work with me.
Well, that was a little sign there. He moved his finger around in a circle and said, come on, let's work for this. We've got a gap now over everybody else. If you want to win the Tour, mate, you better come with me, and you had better work together. It's still around about 2.5 kilometers to go to the summit of the Col du Galibier. Cadel Evans is all over his machine. He saw that move coming there. He knew he had to stay with it. And looking back, that's a nice, serious gap opening here. We're looking at around about 30 seconds by the time we see the next group of riders appear. Valverde, Rasmussen, Leipheimer, Popovic, Iban Mayo, and the rest still in there as well. Dangerously is Andreas Kloden.
Thank you. The Col du Galibier. And this, a wild card team, and this man, his first Tour de France.
Phenomenal performance by this man. He's 2 minutes and 42 seconds ahead of the yellow jersey, but Contador has certainly got the legs this afternoon, and he's putting Cadel Evans in difficulty. Cadel Evans cannot follow the pace of this young man. He tried to get him to work with him, and he saw that Evans didn't have the speed that he's got on these climbs. He said, right, I'm off.
Well, Solar is the man up front. He has distanced Cadel Evans, who tried desperately to mark him. Everybody is saying, you know, especially the Spanish, that Contador can win this Tour de France. If you're English, the Australians are saying Evans can win the Tour de France.
Again, the rider here from Etienne is Francis Moreau, and he's really using all of his experience, I have to say, this afternoon.
Well, Gusev has been dispatched backwards from that leading group now, and that could be a stepping stone for Moreau to try and get up there. Look at the gap. There's Gusev, and he's been passed by, and it's a Colombian rider in his first Tour de France who conquers the Col du Galibier. Juan Mauricio Solar is over the top. Now the long way home to Briançon. This was a plan. He was expecting to see Contador coming up to him. He's waiting for him, and then there'll be a great pursuit. These two riders will descend like stones now, and if they can contact Juan Solar up front, they might not see these guys before the finish.
Well, this is a great team move here this afternoon. Johan Brunel has had it fairly easy winning the Tour de France on 7 occasions with Lance Armstrong, but he is a master tactician as well, and that's why this race was set up like this afternoon. Gusev and Popovic were sent up the road to lay the plans down for either Levi Leipheimer or Alberto Contador.
It really is poor old Vinokurov. Look at the face now of the rider on the front, as it's Valverde who goes over in 5th place.
Well, there's going to be a little bit of a sorting out in the overall classification this afternoon, but these riders now have got a serious chase to catch up. Radiant, and they will see themselves slowing down to an average speed of about 50 kilometers an hour, and there it will be very much more difficult to pull themselves back into this race. So that's what it looks like at the moment, 1 minute and 53 seconds. So the Contador-Popovic train are actually now starting to pull themselves back up to the lone leader, Soler. Slowly but surely, I hope, get himself around there nice and safely. These two riders working exceptionally well together have got around about a minute's advantage over the yellow jersey group.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Contador is hurting Popovic here. He's trying to even descend faster than his more experienced rival. Surely they're going to latch on to those two riders. They've gone over the top 2 minutes plus behind, 2 minutes 4. They're now behind by only 1 minute 45, so they are descending faster. And Cadel Evans still on
15 seconds. You can almost feel the pain that he's going through there as he gets out of the saddle once again to try and lift up that pace. And the gap now is almost 2 minutes back to Alexander Vinokurov, who's losing again huge chunks of time on our 3rd day of the Alpine passes. The yellow jersey group is pulling themselves slowly but surely back in the distance there. You can see the town we're heading for, the town of Briançon. Popovic again comes to the front. He will give himself everything that he can to look after the interests here of the team and of his teammate there, number 112. Mess this up now. Let's get ourselves organised. You see him indicating there the wind is coming from the right-hand side. He said, come on, let's get 2 lines. Let's make sure that we don't lose too much time on Michael Rasmussen, because he knows if you mess around in the last 10 kilometres, that clock is going to read 2 minutes at the finish line.
They've gone under just on 1 minute, 59 seconds. They're closing. Are they closing quick enough? They had 2 minutes and 4 seconds on the top of the Galibier, and they're now in the last 10 kilometres. They might yet complete a perfect day for Team Discovery Channel, who had a plan, and so far it couldn't have possibly worked out any better.
The two riders from Discovery, and it's Michael Rasmussen in person, the yellow jersey, is going to nail back the gap.
Well, look at this. Their yellow jersey is bringing back the Discovery tandem, and they're only about 55 seconds behind the star of the day. This is real gritty Tour de France cycling at its very, very best. Now, it might help if they catch those two. There might be a slowing, and the others could come back. Chasers.
Well,
he's
it's
looking for
coming
one.
down. It's 50 seconds, 48 seconds, and he's now inside the streets of Briançon. But that wall you were talking about, Phil, when you see it in front of you, when you've led the race, that's it.
This is it. Wait for it. He sees the kilometre. He sees the wall. They can't take it away from him now, surely. He's got to find those climbing legs. Victory for Barlow World in their first Tour de France. It's a South African team. They've got a lot of foreign riders on it. But now this man who flew around everybody, having been sixth over the top of the Telegraph, wiped them out on the Galibier and somehow held them all off on what has been a tremendous race from the top of the Galibier to the top of this little climb in Briançon. There's time soon to zip up the jersey and salute the crowd. They won't stop him now. He has got the win. Can't think his name. Maurizio Sola Hernandez has won the stage.
Well, he's won the stage, but these men are fighting out for a few time bonuses. You can see on the front there, that is Cadel Evans. They're putting time between themselves and Christophe Moreau, who battled his way back into the race on the slopes of the Col de Galibier. But Alejandro Valverde is coming up for the second place. A few more time bonuses for him. This man is insatiable when it comes to getting places. He's going to get himself a 12-second time bonus on the line, maybe a bit more, because there are gaps appearing with his acceleration. Walking down, and she's just hanging on.
There should be time gaps here as he comes up to the line. He's coming in around 38 seconds. Cadel Evans on his back wheel, little gap to Contador, and then comes Mayo, followed by the yellow jersey, and Moreau here has lost about 40 seconds overall on the day.
Albertini seems to be the man who's got the explosive finish, but they're going to back it off. They've been away for so long. It's got to be a short sprint. They've got to wait. They're inside of 400 metres to go, and still they haven't started.
That's a short sprint.
It's very short. They haven't even started yet, but look at the Frenchman starting to get out of the saddle. Voigt is looking now to start winding it up.
Algan, he's missed Vasseur up the other side. Vasseur switched, and everybody was watching Algan. Now he's ripped away on the left of the picture, Vasseur. Albertini's come through the middle here now, taking on Cassar. He's got to reach Vasseur, and I don't think he's got it. This is going to be a very tight finish, and Vasseur made the move. Albertini looked at Algan, and Vasseur went up the inside. Tom Bonan at the moment is not in the hunt for this.
Bonan was one of the riders who went down. I'm looking to see if I can see the green jersey there, but Robbie Hunter is in an ideal position. He's in around about fourth.
Hunter now dodging in amongst the wheels here as the sprint is opened here by Thibault. That's 500 to go. Hunter springs wide here. The rider's just about holding the line. Bonan and Rodriguez down in the sprint. Robbie Hunter now is heading for his first ever victory in a stage of the Tour de France. Barlow World are having a dream tour. Can he hold on? This will be a special win. He's being challenged. He's got it on the line. Robbie Hunter scores for South Africa. The wildcard team have got a second stage win, but the sadness is that Bonan and Rodriguez down on that corner. There's a kick on the far right. Bonan goes down. Sebastian Chavanel on the far. And now Zabel has got the wheel of Bonan. Hunter's still there. Hunter dodging with Zabel. Zabel might get the better here of Bonan. Bonan gets it. Zabel, Hunter. maillot jaune, he thought the sun had come out. And Evans now continues to remain a major challenger for Australia as he races up towards the line here, his head bobbing. There's the time he's got to beat for claiming second place. There's nobody behind approaching him at the checkpoints. Hits the line, second now, 1:7:48, only concedes a minute 14 to Vinokurov. Evans has been the big gainer today, but this man goes into the Pyrenees in yellow. Michael Rasmussen licking his lips, his tongue comes out. He knows now he's done the ride of his time trial life as he comes up the home straight, and he's not even the last man to finish because he has passed the man who started in front of him. He won't be a high finish that you would expect from a maillot jaune like a Miguel Indurain or a Bernard Hinault, but he certainly has grown in everybody's stature today. Rasmussen comes home with a good minute in hand of what it would have cost him, I think, to lose the maillot jaune to Cadel Evans. Almost exactly a minute.
Still 2 minutes behind the leader, Antonio Colom. This is really not very good for Alejandro Valverde, number 18. He came to this race yesterday morning. This man was in second place in the overall standings, or 16th. And his hopes of taking the Tour de France victory to Spain will be blown completely and utterly out of the window. Jaroslav Popovic now dropped on the port to Payer, has come to the front and he's trying to set something up for his man in second position there. Alberto Contador now is starting to look rather dangerous.
Trouble Valverde. Rasmussen is not in trouble. He's cool, he's riding like a great climber, but what is happening, and there was a little switch there with Carlos Sastre. What I'm trying to say, Popovic has gone. Well, what a ride he's done. He'll be slapped on the back, and now it's a move by Levi to stretch him, and look who's going. Maurizio Sola straight on the wheel, the man I believe will win the stage today, and he's marked by the yellow jersey.
Well, he accelerated immediately. Great job of work by 118 to Jaroslav Popovic, but the sad thing is you work hard like that. Contador's gone.
It's the old Discovery 1-2. Levi goes, Contador takes up the gritting of the face by Carlos Sastre, who looked to be in trouble, but he's gone. Rasmussen's answered, Cadel Evans has answered, and now they've caught, is that Chiruka they've just gone by?
They've just gone by Gutierrez very rapidly. They've just caught Chiruka. He's out of the back. There's only one man in front of this group. Contador looking nervous, wants to get a lone lead if he can. He'll keep accelerating.
Yep. No, he's gone. Contador's react here. Now they've got to come. The yellow jersey is looking for time. Cadel Evans rocks and rolls. He's straight across the gap. They're splitting the six now. Evans joins on. Contador looking for the inside of the corner. Rasmussen knows he's got to get time. He passed him, and it's the rider in the yellow jersey now, and Contador has mastered him. Cadel Evans is hurting, but he's hanging.
Well, he's pulling back every time the acceleration comes from Michael Rasmussen, but Rasmussen cannot get rid of the man in the white jersey, Alberto Contador. Contador is a great climber, a man who knows just how to accelerate. But a man with experience is the man who wears number 31. Carlos Sastre has seen this before. He's been here on many, many occasions, and he just lets them carry on with it and pulls himself back into the race with Levi, Leipheimer and Soler.
We'll wait for the next attack from Rasmussen. This is how climbers work it here. They've eased because it didn't work, then they'll raise the acceleration again. He's lifted the tempo once more, and the second time sometimes kills them off. Contador is there. Now Rasmussen looks again. This is like a sprint on the track. They're watching each other. Rasmussen just rests. Contador still in control. So too is Evans. Leipheimer's back in. And the Colombian here would like some water. I'm not sure he's allowed anymore now.
Not allowed to take drinks on board at this stage of the game. We're looking at 6.8 kilometers to go. This man at number 219, Juan Maurizio Soler, Phil, is in all kinds of agony. He probably can't believe that he's battling it out at the stage of a Tour de France like this with the big men who are right up in the overall classification.
He may win the day, but no, Rasmussen's after him. ripping away, followed by Contador, and Evans, the limpet, is on the back.
Well, Cadel Evans cannot give these guys any gap at all. Rasmussen wants the stage here this afternoon, Phil. He wants to win in the mountains. Soler is pouring water all over himself, trying to calm and cool down those muscles of his, while Leipheimer has to respond. He really is gangly on a bike.
He's terrible style. This reminds me of Robert Alban of years gone by. You know well as your teammate, Paul. He's slow. And here he goes again. Now this time he may have it. And where is he finding the strength from?
Well, you know what? They do not really need to chase that man, Soler, because he's so far down in the overall classification. But it's Contador who wants the victory this afternoon. He says, no, mate, I want the win. And Leipheimer does not have the ability now to lift it up. And Alberto Contador has seen that he's not got the gap, and he says, come on, you guys want to win the stage, you go. So Rasmussen says, all right, I will.
And Sastre looks to be hanging at the back now as they continue to go. But Rasmussen comes up on Mauricio Soler. The others behind are still hanging, but now Rasmussen this time tries to put it on. They've got Soler on the defensive. He needs half a kilometre to recover. He'll just have to hang there and wait and hope that they slow down again. It will be 6 because Leipheimer is climbing back into the picture. He sits 5th overall if they keep on doing that. There goes Contador. The yellow jersey this time says to Cadel Evans, well, you chase him. He's only just behind you overall. Now there's a state of confusion.
Well, Contador, look at this. He's out of the saddle. He knows now that he's got the gap. This is what he wanted a couple of days ago when we were in the Alps. He wanted to fly free and get himself a lone lead on the way up to the climb of Tignes. And now it's up to Rasmussen. He says, I know you're dangerous, Contador. I'm coming after you. And Evans again struggling to stay on the wheel. And Leipheimer, Phil, almost got himself back into contention with those riders, but then he goes again.
Well, it's a big gamble by Evans. He's a minute 31 ahead of Contador in the standings. He can afford to let him run a little bit, and it's not the case for Rasmussen, so he's had to react. And so the first 3 riders on the classification in the Tour de France are now the first 3 riders, and Evans, I think, has cracked.
Well, he's cracked a bit. He doesn't want to push himself too much into the red zone. He could not take the accelerations of these 2 climbers. Alberto Contador and Michael Rasmussen have thrown caution to the wind, and they are going at this as if it's the last battle of the Tour de France here this afternoon. So Evans now bows his head a fraction. What he's got to do, Phil, is try and recover somehow. Try and get himself into a situation where he can actually ride himself into his rhythm and not lose any more time.
Now, advantage Rasmussen. He's got to keep on working. He fears Cadel Evans. Cadel Evans can beat him in the time trial. He needs second. I think he needs about 3 or 4 minutes before we leave the Pyrenees over Cadel. So he's going to have to go again.
When he sees the yellow jersey and the white jersey, Phil, he will be a broken man. But for these 2 riders, they're riding away from the rest of the field in the Tour de France this afternoon. And I think the man we're looking at here, 1-1-2, he might not win the Tour de France this year, but next year or the year after, he's going to be right on the top step of the podium.
If he rides like this, he might win it this year yet. He's not a rival right now. He's just sort of encouraging each other here. It's 2 men against the rest. And then they'll decide later whether they have to fight it out between themselves. We're going back down the road here to the Evans group now, and Leipheimer won't help because he's got a teammate in Contador ahead.
Carlos Sastre, he's no glory in the Pyrenees. Before looking over his shoulder, he flicks his wrist there to say, come and work with me, but he's not going to get any help at all from Levi Leipheimer.
Oh, pretty fit athlete there as we go down, back up to the front here, as we see the yellow jersey and the white jersey, the best rookie and the leader of the Tour, just getting into their sights now. The hero of the day, Antonio Colom, isn't going to see the plateau on his own. The 2 principal players are right up on him.
I think it's absolutely phenomenal the way Alberto Contador rides. He's the man who showed the most aggression here, but the yellow jersey, he knows that if he wants to win this Tour, Phil, every time and every stage that goes uphill, he's got to build on his advantage, because he will not win the final time trial. He will lose huge chunks of time. Contador now comes up and sets the pacemaking, but I wonder how much longer number 192, Antonio Colom, can stay in contact with these 2 men.
Well, yes, and let's hope he can, but it's unlikely that he can hold him just for a while. He said something to Contador. I think he says, you do the work, and Contador says, no, why me? You do the work. They shouldn't be arguing like this. And Rasmussen really must make Contador work too. Otherwise, rise, and there's that discussion. And goodness knows what language is in. Well, Contador only speaks to Spanish.
Well, he speaks a little bit of English, a bit of confusion now as they go through. Just listen to the crowds. It's almost deafening, the tunnel of noise that these riders are going through. And I think that Alberto Contador, Phil, actually feels that Cadel Evans is now being picked up here by Andreas Cloden. So Cadel Evans is actually showing his first sign of place. He's now been left behind, and Michael Rasmussen is accelerating inside of the final 400 metres. There on his wheel, there's Alberto Contador. Contador wants the stage picture if he can, but he's going to have to do something special. Michael Rasmussen here has got the acceleration, and Contador comes up alongside him. The young man from Spain who wants the victory here the afternoon. He knows it's finished. He came and looked at it very early on in the year, but Alberto Contador has got the victory that he wanted ahead of Michael Rasmussen. He wanted this win this afternoon, and he's got it ahead of the yellow jersey, and he may well have got himself second place in the overall classification as well. Hats off to this man though. Juan Maurizio Soler has come up to the line, and what a great ride by him. He wants a few more points in that King of the Mountains classification and crosses the line in third. Is the chance that the American has of bringing himself just a little bit closer. That's where we're going to. The little V formation up there in the top of the hills is where the riders will reach the summit of the Col de la Peresord. These men are losing some time, but not too much. 21 seconds there behind Vinokourov.
Well, we're looking at the two chasers. Vinokourov is heading, it seems, to victory today. He's got about 12 kilometers to run. We were stopped by the police till they saw our tags on the car, and then they let us through. But we're letting no one up the mountain. There's the Union flag of Great Britain here, all cheering on Alexander Vincennes. The adrenaline going for that man now as he comes to the
amazing thing is, people, everyone has followed this man's story throughout this last 10-15 days of the Tour de France. They know what he's been through. They don't care if he's from Spain or France or Belgium or anywhere.
Hill, maybe even nearly 11 of them. As he now gets to the top, it's time to zip up for the long descent. It is a very, very fast descent on this side. It's a very good road surface. Vinokourov tops the last climb of the day. Now this is further down here. Kim Kirken has picked up some failure, has he?
Well, Kim Kirken he's managed to get his rhythm back. He's managed to recover. He didn't panic at all. That's the way the thing goes on a climb like this. You have a bad moment, you recuperate, you find your rhythm, and then all of a sudden you recover.
Ahí va Contador, vamos. Alberto, que tensa la carrera, intentando recuperar algunos segundos. Ha abierto un pequeño hueco, está acelerando también Rasmussen. Vamos a ver cómo aguanta este ataque. Cuidado que Contador está yéndose, le está costando llegar a Rasmussen. Se puede sentar en cualquier momento y ese es el final. Vamos a ver si vuelven a ofrecernos imagen de la cabeza de carrera, cómo sufre Rasmussen. Sabe que tiene que llegar hasta ahí. ¡Guau! ¡Qué valiente, Alberto! Chapó de nuevo. Ahí ha llegado Rasmussen, pero lo ha apretado, Pedro, lo ha apretado.
Yo que sé, un puntito más, lo que pasa que ahí no hay puntitos que sobren ya por parte de nadie.
Hacia atrás Rasmussen y se demuestra que son los dos más fuertes de la general, dos escaladores puros brillando en el Tour. Qué valiente Alberto, cómo quiere recuperar esos segunditos que le pueden meter de nuevo en la clasificación general, pero para luchar de verdad por la carrera.
Y nos ha sorprendido a todos. Yo creo que iba a utilizar a poner un hombre como Leikheimer, ¿no? Que llega ahí poquito a poco. Pues Michael Bogen, yo creo que ha sido
que lógicamente le ha roto. Ahí va Valverde también cerrando el grupo ahora.
Cloden, que tampoco ha podido responder hoy a esos ataques.
Está Carlos Sánchez también con Leikheimer, con Cloden, y ahí vuelve Alberto, vuelve a probarlo. Bravo Alberto, qué valiente. 24 años de ahí luchando a cara.
Le deja, le deja.
Le está apretando muchísimo, más. ¿Cómo le está apretando Alberto? Qué increíble lo que está haciendo Contador. Hay que aguantar un poquito.
Sí, porque va muy atrancado Rasmussen.
Vuelve a mirar y cómo aguanta, vuelve a mirar y cómo aguanta.
Es que entre escaladores hay que dejarse a ritmo. A cambios de ritmo no haces nada, A cambio de ritmo no haces nada. Ahí eso es a un ritmo, hasta que tú puedas o el otro ceda.
Pero qué valiente está siendo Alberto, Decía ayer que él ya se daba con un canto en los dientes con lo que había hecho, pero a ver, Una cosa es lo que se dice y otra es lo que se hace. Te ves ahí en carrera y qué constante, ¿qué ha durado? 700 metros, ¿no? Ha sido terrible.
No, tanto, no, son que estoy subiendo, que no se va tan rápido.
Me ha parecido larguísimo el ataque.
Sí, sí, pero es que ha sido muy constante.
Ahí vuelve. Le hace sufrir, le hace sufrir.
Ahora sí, ahora parece que sí. Venga, Alberto, un puntito más. Si es que baja un piñón más, si bajas un piñón más se entrega y en el momento que se siente ahora. Venga, Alberto, venga, ahora sí.
Se está marchando. ¡Qué carrera! Lo ve. Ahí se sienta Alberto. Vamos a por él. Ha abierto ese pequeño hueco, intenta llegar de nuevo Rasmussen, como pueden ver cómo le está apretando Contador. ¡Qué espectáculo el que nos está ofreciendo el madrileño! Se acerca. Y cómo anima el público. Ahí, mira hacia atrás.
Ahí curva, venga que ya estás arriba. Venga, Alberto, que ya estás arriba.
¡Qué pelea, Pedro! ¿Cuánto tiempo hacía que no veíamos eso? Y vuelve Alberto. Está cogiendo a todos. ¡Qué espectáculo el que nos está ofreciendo Contador! Ya no lo esperábamos. Esto es otro regalo,
Sí.
Está llegando, pero esto es además un toque de moral, Pedro.
Sí.
Queda una etapa muy dura, recuerden el miércoles. Y ahí le ha hecho sufrir, Ha hecho sufrir al maillot amarillo. Quiere pasar Rasmussen como imponiéndose, ¿no? Diciéndole, aquí estoy, me has apretado, pero aquí estoy. Obviamente la carrera central ahora entre el primero y el segundo de la clasificación general. A 6 kilómetros se encuentra Vinokurov, el hombre que está luchando por ganar la etapa. Estilo Pistar, casi.
Sí, no se fía, le dice, y así le hago de tapón.
Ahí está la cima, ahí está la cima, y con la gente y todo es difícil.
Ahí
vuelve, bueno.
Aquí sprintando para la montaña.
Hay que ponerse de pie, Hay que ponerse de pie ante lo que está haciendo Alberto, que le está haciendo sufrir muchísimo a Rasmussen. Increíble, tercer ataque consecutivo y le está soltando. Ahí tiene cuarto ya. Pierdo la cuenta. Ojo ahí a los coches. Lo que queda ahí de la fuga que le están parando a Alberto, aunque también es verdad que había llegado, Rasmussen había llegado.
Iba hincapié ahí, ¿lo ves cómo iba George hincapié? Claro, aquí. Entonces tenía que haber sido más valiente aún, haberle dado más continuidad.
Ahí está George ahora, que le ofrece su rueda rápidamente para coronar. ¿Qué apretones le ha pegado a Rasmussen Contador? ¿Cómo que no puede ganar el Tour? ¿Por qué no? Con las ganas y la fuerza que tiene Pedro, ¿por qué no?
A really special victory that he took out of the bag here this afternoon. These are second and third place riders on the phone on the road. Kim Kirken in first place, Aymar Zubeldia in second. Zubeldia is going to make a nice move up the overall classification because Michael Rasmussen is still 5.5 minutes behind.
Rasmussen, should he win the day, he'll take 40 back. Double points on the last climb, remember. This is Sastre and Mayo, clear of the fields. We look down the chase here. So just looking here at the situation now, 10 seconds to Sola, the main field, less than a minute behind. It could all come together on this climb. Carlos Sastre still touring along the yellow clad here of Ivan Mayo. 20 seconds is the spread now, 10.1 kilometers to the summit. It's not, there's the 10 kilometer to go banner, all of it uphill and all of it probably the hardest climbing of the day after 200 kilometers. The gap is now down 15 seconds. There's been a crack here. Pereiro is unhitched at the back. Looking at the back of the field, it's Schleck, Pereiro and Valverde all unhitched at 10 kilometers to go. Now the pressure's gone on and it's Discovery driving it.
Well, it's Jaroslav Popovic doing all of the work here to try and set something very special up in the last big mountain of this year's Tour de France. They are riding everyone off their wheels. They've been sitting, Phil, in the main field all day, thinking about this. Let's not forget, Phil, he's looking for 2 minutes and 23 seconds. He's got to go a long way out.
Well, look at the face on Popovic here. He can't go on much longer at this speed. Contador sitting there as if he wants to attack, but he's holding back. Keeps checking where the yellow jersey is. Very unusual that they've put the yellow jersey behind them here. This is a very select five-man group. Leipheimer and Evans make it up, and this man is holding them off, but how?
Well, if this man can stay inside of the top 10 on the stage, I'm pretty certain he's going to keep that lead in the King of the Mountains classification. There are the two leaders, and there is the select group of the yellow jersey, the white jersey, and Levi Leipheimer and Cadel Evans.
9 kilometres to go, and it looks as though now this is the move. We knew that once we got to the steep side, Leipheimer will launch the first attack. Rasmussen is itching. He's got to make a decision now. Do I go after Levi? Do I gamble he won't get the time? Or do I look at Contador? And this is decision time for the yellow. He's coming back at Leipheimer.
This is a very good move here. I wasn't surprised to see that move coming by Levi Leipheimer. Popovic has done his job. He's disappearing from the group. He must now just try and survive. But what they've done is still of winning the Tour de France this year.
This Tour de France has come down to 4 men. They already occupy the top 4 places in the race, and they are now locked together. Cadel Evans at the back there.
Wait, is there in the darkness now? And there's Contador's
There
move.
it is. Here we have the attack. The attack now by Contador still says 9.2 kilometres, a bit closer than that. And where is Rasmussen? This is the acceleration Rasmussen hates. He has to pick the tempo. It takes him moments to do.
Well, he's got to make the move, man. Michael Rasmussen must not panic. This was the acceleration. As soon as we came out of the tunnel, he looked for that move, and he now knows this is a possibility of winning the Tour de France this year. Looks over his shoulder, and he can still see the shape there, Phil, of the yellow jersey.
Well, as Contador now climbs away, Rasmussen is a little bit confused here. He's got 2 minutes 23 seconds in hand. He can afford to lose a little bit, but not a lot. Cadel Evans continues just to follow the yellow jersey. Where's Leipheimer? Is he still there? Yes, he is. And Contador just checking here as to whether to go. He's waiting. That's attack 1.
That's attack number 1. If Cadel Evans has got the legs this afternoon, this would be an ideal moment for him to try and go for the victory, because you know what? Michael Rasmussen may not chase Cadel Evans down. He starts the day, Cadel 4 minutes behind Michael Rasmussen in the overall classification.
He still needs 2 minutes 23 seconds. Cadel Evans, quite rightly, is letting, there he goes. This is the acceleration that Rasmussen hates, and there's no reaction from any of them yet.
Well, this is a good move by Alberto Contador. He will keep throwing these accelerations as often as he can, but Rasmussen will just have to ride himself back slowly but surely. He won't get any help from the 2 riders with him, Levi Leipheimer or Cadel Evans. He's got a slight gap there for the moment. Now Michael Rasmussen has to find something. He's got to dig deep and pull himself back to the man who's challenging him.
He's incredible, Rasmussen. He can't do that acceleration, but once he gets up to high end, he can ride himself back into the race. Cadel Evans out of the saddle, working, I think, to stay in touch with these 3 climbers. Cadel Evans himself is a great climber, but this time, maybe Contador's going to track Rasmussen. Well, you have the 3 top riders on the classification together. Leipheimer a little bit in oxygen debt there, and now look at this as they go shoulder to shoulder. Rasmussen is going to hit Contador.
Well, he's tried. I think he's going to try his own offensive now, but look how easy Contador is. He's all over Rasmussen. Another move by Contador.
Well, Contador's counting the move. Poor old Cadel here is just having to stay outside of the slipstream of these 2 boys. 6.4 kilometres to climb now as the riders come up the steepest slopes here. This is going to be a terrific ride now. Cadel Evans is going to have to recover. He's still sitting 3rd in this race, and that won't damage that today.
Well, Cadel Evans is just riding at his own pace here this afternoon, as we can see these 2 men slowly looking at each other, wondering where the next move is going to come from. Well, there's another move here.
Paul, another one.
Contador will not lay down arms until he gets to the summit of this climb here this afternoon. He's giving every acceleration he's got, but actually Michael Rasmussen's looking a little bit more comfortable now, as once again Cadel Evans can't respond to these incredible accelerations.
Cadel is right to stay at his own rhythm. He's mixing it with 2 of the greatest climbers in the world, and Leipheimer's back up to Cadel. Leipheimer has rejoined Cadel Evans on the climb, while the 2 men in the top 2 positions, they're now drawn swords and they're fighting a personal duel.
Well, this is unbelievable, the way this Contador can accelerate on the slopes of some of these climbs. He puts himself into the slipstream of Michael Rasmussen. I think he's just trying to recuperate for a fraction. I'm sure he's going to try and hit him again. He knows he's got to keep going. If he wants to win the Tour, he may well never get an opportunity like this again, so he's got to keep going all the way to the summit. He's got to get some time back today.
4 kilometers to go, and still no decision.
Well, Leipheimer swings off. Okay, Michael, you're the man who's in the yellow jersey. You set the pacemaking on the front.
Well, I'm not too sure whether you see the pat Leipheimer on the back there and push him back in the lead.
Well, he knows, you see he's playing a very clever card here. He knows that Leipheimer's looking for a 3rd place in the overall standings, but Levi Leipheimer knows that he's got to get rid of Cadel Evans. Cadel hasn't cracked at all here. He's riding at his own pace. He's trying to make sure that he limits his losses. He started the day with 1 minute and 25 seconds advantage over Levi Leipheimer, and he needs to conserve that if he gets up to the summit. So Levi Leipheimer now thinking about his goal, and that is a podium position in Paris, is moving forward. And Johan Brunel was right yesterday, Phil. This is Levi Leipheimer's best ever Tour de France.
No question at all. He's had a wonderful tour, and how unlucky to get somebody on your team who's gone that bit better in a 24-year-old newcomer from Spain. But that's the way it is. They're professional cyclists. Victories for the team, not for the individuals as far as they are concerned. And if they can get Contador into yellow, so be it. Well, I'm not so sure. Rasmussen doesn't like our TV camera being this close. He wants roomy stuff now. Now it's up to Contador. It's the same two we saw racing into Ludombiel as they battle it out between themselves. Now the white jersey is going to follow the yellow jersey and try and take the stage away from him. But this has been the day of yellow jersey today. He has handled himself so well, and is he distancing him? I think he's cracked Contador.
Well, he's got the acceleration on the steeper part at the top end of this climb. The Discovery Channel riders have done everything, and now Rasmussen's gone.
Well, that is the Tour de France winner as he heads up towards the line now. They threw every piece of ammunition on the ship at him, and it was not enough. Michael Rasmussen is now free to fly and win the Tour de France.
Well, they gave everything they had, the riders from Team Discovery Channel here this afternoon, but now all of a sudden this man is riding with anger. He wants to win the Tour. He wants to increase his lead in the overall classification, and they're not going to see him anymore this afternoon.
Over in 2nd place because of the slightly bigger time bonus, which might yet decide this Tour de France.
Well, I'm not sure whether he will, because in fact he may need the time bonus himself, because Cadel Evans is now at 54 seconds, and there it is.
The victory by Michael Rasmussen, that is a real punch in the skies, and it might well turn out to be the stage that has won him the Tour de France. Look at the set jaw now as they try to save 2nd here. Contador could not hold on to Levi. He's pushing on here to snatch the 2nd bonus. He's still looking for 3rd place, at least in Paris in a few days' time. He can deliver a great time trial, Levi Leipheimer. He knows he's the fastest, but he's got to make sure he sees the initial move by whomever it's going to be. And Jens Voigt won't move here. Fulton's going to be the first. It was telegraphed to the leaders there. Fulton's now going. Elmer's on the front, but I think they played into Bernardi's hands here. And through the gap goes Jens Voigt to try and hook up with Daniele Bernardi. But see the difference in the speed here. And Marcus Fulton is taking on Bernardi. But Bernardi gets Italy's only 2nd win of the Tour. The other one was Filippo Lozano on stage 5. It was pretty easy.
He's looking very nervous. You can almost feel the twitching. He's waiting for the moment to start the sprint. I don't think he's going to be denied here this afternoon.
300 metres to go to the line, and now it is the Français de Girard. How he's kept that 2 or 3 metre advantage. This could be advantage Merckx or Lefebvre, because if you take a look at Bogart, he's not going to start the sprint till the last minute, and now he's got to go because Sandy Gassar thinks they're not going to catch him. If he gets away with this, he was the carrot right in front of them. Now they're ripping for the line now, and still Sandy Gassar is trying to go. Axel Merckx is fading away. Gassar has got a terrific win, and they've only themselves to blame. That was a fabulous finish by Sandy Gassar. The man who fell off, the injured man at the breakaway, is the stage winner.
Not going to tire too much down towards the end. So that is not a bad performance. 41.13. He's not yet lost a minute on Cadel Evans. So Cadel Evans is still currently in second position on the road, but Levi Leipheimer is closing up on both of these riders.
Cadel Evans knows now that he's being closed in by Leipheimer, and it could be. Valverde's just gone through only 13th at the third check, which is the last one before the finish. Well, as we look here at Cadel Evans on the left, Evans is second overall of 49 seconds to Alberto Contador. He's closed it down from 1 minute and 50 seconds. He's still looking for 49, and behind him, Leipheimer is also closing.
Aymar Zubeldia, but then after that, the next man to arrive will be Levi Leipheimer. Any moment now, we should get a time check at 50 kilometers covered, and that is the third time check of the day. Alberto Contador is doing the time trial of his life here this afternoon, and he is still holding on to a 40-second advantage over Cadel Evans. And I wonder if that nasty little climb at 50 kilometers to go is going to help the Spanish climber, because he's using a much smaller gear than Cadel Evans on the left-hand side. Cadel now starting to get that little bit of a nod. He's using a big gear, and it's very difficult not to get tired using a massive gear like that. Contador whips around the corners, round that traffic circle, no problem at all, nice and fast. He's riding now like a downhill skier, keeping the pace up, not losing any momentum at all. Out of the saddle, once again, he knows how important this race is going to be for him here this afternoon. Now here this afternoon, and I'll tell you what, I've got a funny feeling that when Cadel Evans gets to that time check, Cadel may well have gone behind Levi Leipheimer in the overall classification.
It was a minute 29, but he had a little bit more in hand. He's got another minute 20 to lose to Leipheimer on what remains of this course. Leipheimer now 11 seconds at these time checks, as far as we can work out. The clock will reveal all when Cadel Evans gets to this 50 kilometer check. Then he will have 5.4 kilometers to race to the line. He's racing for the yellow jersey, but is the man behind him going to spoil the party?
The Tour de France overall, he's going to walk away with the stage here this afternoon, Phil, and it's going to be a phenomenal performance. He's still not even getting out of that skier's tucked down position. That has been his big advantage here this afternoon, and as well the big power in his thighs. He's not even got out of the saddle yet, and here's now.
I'll tell you what, Paul, it counts bad this, because the last 5 kilometers he is 8 seconds behind Cadel Evans at the last time check. That just come through. So he's got to improve that 8 seconds in these last 5 kilometers to get ahead of Evans, so that will count. 1:2:44 for the time, 53.1 kilometers now. That's one of the fastest. Lost out to Leipheimer. He's going to have to go a little bit harder, I think. It's an awful long way up this home straight. He is banging out the rhythm on these pedals. I don't think Cadel Evans can win the Tour de France, but at the moment he's been more concerned about hanging on to second place. 1:3:43, he's got to beat to the line. It is going to be a desperate few minutes here. It is still a way up here. He's still got a few seconds to get up the hill, and he can't quite make it. 1:3:43, those are the figures. We're counting to 1:3:30. Leipheimer is watching this as well, remember. He's looking at second in the Tour de France. If Cadel Evans he's got there. 1:3:35, 50 seconds behind. He had 59. He has pulled out a magical last 5 kilometers.
But Alberto Contador has just gone through with the 5th best time at 50.1 kilometers covered.
This is going to go down as the closest ever finish in the Tour de France between the top 3 riders, all on the podium. This fight could continue tomorrow, you know. Here he comes now. Forget Vladimir Karpich, who we thought had done the ride of his life. Contador is the man who's done the ride of his life. Look at the face of the rider in yellow.
Don't look at his face, look at the clock, because for Alberto Contador, Phil, he wants to see less than 1:05.25 on the clock, on the gantry above the finishing line, because if he does that, he'll know that he's still in the lead in this bike race. Yes, the lead is a lot less than it was at the start this morning, but that doesn't really matter when you're looking at the Champs-Élysées. He's still trying to keep that cadence. It's a very high cadence now. He's out of the saddle. 1:04.43. He's looking, Phil, and not very many seconds to go.
I don't know if you can see the man in the car behind is Lance Armstrong, the man who won it 7 times. He part owns this team. It's going to be a good ride for Contador as he now sprints. This man has gone through all kinds of suffering, but he's done it. He's saved his Tour de France by about 20 seconds, I would think. He will win the Tour tomorrow. 23 seconds, we reckon.
Well, that was a phenomenal individual time trial by that man. I'm sure he was inspired by the presence of Lance Armstrong behind him, but we've seen this Tour de France get completely and utterly reduced. It was massive gaps before we came in here. 150 over Cadel Evans, 250 over Levi Leipheimer. Still, this man is going to run out as the overall leader tonight. Still over Cadel Evans and still over Levi Leipheimer. But
but this one is special. He needs the points. The teammates are switching off now as they head onto the front of the... Now they can see the finish. Watch for the green jersey of Robbie Hunter. Contador also. This is the big lead out now. Bernardi sitting and waiting. Hushoff to the third wheel. Zabel goes on the right of our picture. Robbie Hunter. A big effort on the left. Head to head with Tom Bowling in green. But Tor Hushoff is still pushing on as Hunter tries desperately to switch across the road. It looks like it was Bernardi from Hushoff, Zabel, Hunter on the line.
Well, that was a very confusing sprint for everybody. Tom Boonen was trying to come up through the middle in time win by this man, but Alberto Contador is the yellow jersey, is the winner of the 2017